Hello and welcome to another episode of Discover with Spinati. It is episode number 103, and I am your host. Who else would it be? Dr. Spinati. And today we're talking about, as you see on the screen, graduation is a new beginning. And that's what graduation is. And this one is specifically to my colleagues, to my dental colleagues who just graduated in 2024, and now they're out and about to practice and about to become better and better clinicians. Now, the reason why I chose this, obviously because of graduation, but because I want to impart on you some of my knowledge. I want to impart on you some of my knowledge as to what I would have given in terms of advice to my younger self when I first graduated, so that I can accelerate and bypass a lot of the mistakes that I've done and be a lot further than I am today. So this is strictly something that I would give in terms of advice to myself, to my younger self, that I'm giving to those people that have graduated. And if you are a person who hasn't graduated and who isn't in dental school, this still applies to you because the principles are the exact same. Now, in terms of graduation, graduation simply means now you're on to the next level. If you've ever done chemistry, there's something called a graduated cylinder. It's a cylinder with markings on it, right? So it's like 10, 20, 30, and it measures something, whether it's milliliters or whatever. And that's what graduating is. You're graduating from one level to the next, and that's why it's called graduation. Graduation doesn't mean this is the end of it. It literally means it's the beginning of your next thing, right? So now you've graduated from one line to the next one. And as they say, progress is gradual, right? Progress goes from step to step. You can't climb a mountain in one step unless you're Superman. So you got to love my humor. So, what are the three pieces of advice that I would give to my younger self had I been able to give advice to my younger self? What would those three pieces of advice be? The first one is have a plan. Now, I don't know if you've heard this one before because I didn't when I first graduated. The advice that I got when I first graduated was find a mentor. Like everybody screamed, find a mentor, find a mentor, find a mentor. It's like, all right, fine. Like I gotta find mentors. So I found a bunch of them. And I'm very, very grateful for that. But the advice that would have helped me even more would be to have a plan. So, say for instance, and this is just strictly theory, but if it applies to you, it applies to you. So, if you are planning, for instance, let's say you're graduate or you just graduated from dental school and you're planning, you love implants or you want to place implants. Now, obviously, in dental school, they don't really teach you how to place a lot of implants, so you have to do extra education. So, but have a plan. Have a plan in terms of when is the first day that you're actually going to put your first implant. Put that in the calendar because when you do that, now you have to work up to that. So that's my advice number one is have a plan as to when the first day of you placing your first implant will be. That will set you on a course of learning, of finding the proper mentors, of being able to find, the right things to do in order for you to progress in that direction. Plan to watch a lot of courses, a lot of videos on dental implantology. Read a lot. Find people who have placed a lot of implants and ask them. Ask them about their journey. What did they do? How did they do it? There are a lot of people that you can ask, a wealth of knowledge out there. So that is the first thing, for you to take as many courses as possible. For me, the course that I would recommend is Timax. So Timax is a course that is offered in Kitchener, and it's an incredible course. It's a year-long course for implantology, 325 CE credits. Like it's hardcore. Okay, so just those that don't know much about dentistry, in 3 years, what a dentist is required to do in terms of continuing education to keep their license is 90 CE hours, right? 90 credits. This course is a year long and it's 325 hours of continuing education. So it's pretty intense. But you will emerge a much better clinician because you're going to be surrounded by people who are very like-minded, people who haven't perhaps placed implants, people who have and just want to upgrade their knowledge. And you're going to have professors and teachers and people there that will help you as much as possible to learn. And that is invaluable. So do that and become right. And this is something also that wasn't given to me in terms of advice. Become friends with reps from other dental implant manufacturers. One of the ones that I recommend, the one that I use, is Straumann. But there are other ones that are great, like Nobel, Biocare. No, Nobel is actually great. So, but I place Straumann. Straumann is known to be one of the best dental implants in the world. But I mean, make friends with a lot of these reps because these reps can help you. I mean, they invest a lot of their time learning about all these things, about all these dental implants, the differences in dental implants and why you should place which one. But more importantly, they can connect you with other dentists that do place a lot of implants. And so then now you have a network of people that you can rely on so that you can grow at a much faster rate and a much safer rate so that you know what you're doing and you can make a lot less mistakes. That's advice number one: is have a plan, take an intense course such as the Timax, and become friends with the reps, implant reps. The second is, if you're in Ontario, there's something called the ODA New Dentist Symposium. And that's for dentists that have been practicing for 10 years or less strictly. So if you've been practicing for longer than 10 years, then you can't really attend that. I mean, you don't register for that. But if you've been practicing for within 10 years, then that's where all those new dentists congregate, right? And then you learn from other people and other speakers there. And that's where you should go. You should go there because obviously you're going to meet a lot of your colleagues. But more importantly, you're going to be learning a lot from lecturers who are going to be giving you a lot of their information. And then you can ask them questions because they're very receptive to the audience. And they know the audience is new. They know they're new dentists. And the more questions that you ask, the more mentorship that you seek out in that symposium, the better and faster that you will learn. The last thing, the third tip that I would give my younger self is ask a lot of questions. A lot of questions. You know, when we first get out of school, we're expected to know so much, especially from patients, because patients, they don't know. I mean, unless you look super young, they don't know that you've just graduated. They may know that you're fresh, but they don't know that you just graduated. And you may not be comfortable to let patients know that you just graduated. But make sure that you ask a lot of questions from your mentors so that you can get more comfortable in the zone of dentistry, because there is a zone of comfort and it does take some time. As one of my close friends told me when I first graduated, is he said that there's a 3-year, very steep learning curve where you're going to be learning a lot of things. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I mean, you're human, you are going to be making a lot of mistakes. So minimize those mistakes as much as possible by asking a lot of questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. The only question that is deemed stupid is the one that's not asked. So make sure that you ask questions as much as possible so you can learn as much as possible. And the last thing, just as a side note, as a PS, is that you're living right now in an age where technology is advancing at such a rapid pace that you're going to have a hard time keeping track of things. So stay focused on one or two things in order for you to master those one or two things. That's my advice. Don't try to be a jack of all trades, even if you're a general dentist. Focus on one or two things, become really, really good at it, because the other things, you're going to become good at it with time anyway. But those two things, one or two things, you can become the person amongst your colleagues. So that's my advice to you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me as well. I mean, I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. I've been there, and I can also link you to my network of friends who have been through it as well. Congratulations to the graduating class of 2024. And if you're not part of that class, look forward to your turn of graduation. Have yourself a great evening.